A young Gambian migrant to Italy, Musa Darboe, has on Friday launched his book titled The First Drop. The First Drop is co-written by Musa Darboe and Francisco, an Italian author and cinematographer. The book chronicles Musa's migration journey to Europe. It catalogues his journey from the sandy streets of Kiamanduare in the Gambia to the Sahara Desert, from the horrors of Libyan ledges to the flatboat of crossing the Mediterranean Sea. In Italy, the book also explains how Musa's journey turned into a story of integration, hospitality, and acceptance, marked by a strong commitment to voluntary work and the social life of a town in the La Masia region. Famara Fofana, a writer and communication expert who gave an overview of the book, describes it as one of the best stories he had ever read.
So what happened to Musa after he and his cousins Bakari and Buba and others, including a 10-year-old boy, traveled across acres of desert to that direction of nothingness? How did he manage with his gari? What happened to the gari? If you want to know what also happened to this young man when smugglers locked them up in a boot of taxi, please get this book. Read the book, people. This is one of the best ever stories I have ever read. It will inspire you as much as it will make you cry. It is a story of pain, survival, paranoia, and hope, beautifully interwoven, packaged, and delivered to you, I, and many others.
Dr. Ansumana Darboe, an academic researcher, as well as an elder brother to Musa Darboe, explains what a book launch signifies in academia.
Book launch is not just a book publicity event, but an important academic tradition. There is an academic mantra, publish or perish, which represents the significance attached to publishing books of all forms, academic papers of all forms. In academia, publication is assorted with several privileges, in that when you publish, and the more you publish, the more privileges you get, the more you advance in the field. For lecturers, it gives you tenure, it gives you grants, it also gives you accolades. Today's event of the launch of the book First Drop stands on those strong academic traditions from our ancient civilization to modern times. Public gatherings are held to celebrate new discoveries and breakthroughs in all facets of education.
Dr. Darboe says the authors of the First Drop are now in the same class with great writers like Chinua Achebe and co.
Musa and his co-author Francisco have joined the class of great writers, classical writers from Italy, including Giovanni Boccaccio, great writer. Francisco, you are in the same class with Giovanni. Musa, you are in the same class with Chinua Achebe. Because the review that we just had from Famara shows nothing but scholarly work of accomplished individuals. And this is why I admitted you to the class of these prominent classical writers of our time.
Musu Komma, the country director of Child Fund the Gambia, says the voice of the voiceless need to be heard, and that Musa's book gives the voice to the voiceless migrants.
Brothers and sisters, the voices of those who are unheard needs to be heard. It's high time that around the world, millions of migrants, men, women, and even children, live their lives in shadows, unable to access services that we take for granted. And the first is their right to be heard and their voices. Musa and Francisco have tried to break this barrier. We've heard stories, we've heard testimonies, and we'll continue hearing more and get enlightened if we commit time and energy to go through this book. These people we call migrants, believe me, The work they do is indispensable. I was touched when Musa mentioned to say that, well, money is nothing. I believe it. Musa, I join you to advocate that the best I believe in life is knowledge acquisition and not money. The reason is money will finish, but the knowledge will ever be with us.
Musa Darboe, one of the authors of the book, explains his relationship with his co-author and how the idea of the book came about.
The story between me and Francisco, we get to know each other February 10, 2021. It has been a long journey. The story started with me that I try to, because when we talk about it, we just take a step back from the origin, which is how we just get to this copy right now, today. Because my intention was, I was living in a community where I've tried to go to school, learn the language and everything. So the book was originally written in Italian. So by then I could say, I've tried to do all what I could to share my story with the Italian community in Italian, even though I know Italian is not my mother language. But I've tried to write what was needed for me to be able to present my masterpiece to the book publishing office. So where I get to know Francesco, from that day, he has been a brother, as you said. He is my brother because when he got the original piece, which was in Italian, thanks to Marco, then I will thank him so much. I will just refer to his character and his personality, because when I get to Italy, that was the first 5 months, it was like a very bad Italian that I was speaking. I get to know him with the group of migrants, and the group chose me to be the interpreter. And then I was trying to hide myself, but my friend said me, Musa, you can do it. Just translate what we want to say to him and what he wanted to tell us. So from that day, Marco, he supported me as his son, the third one because he already get 2. So from that day, he has been present every day from what I've been doing in Italy.
Meanwhile, Francisco, Musa's co-author, had this to say about the book.
The idea of a translation of the book has always been in our plans since the first step of the writing. We were aware that the English language would potentially open many doors, but the door we cared about the most was the one of a house in a small village called Manduar. So every word of our book was written with the aim of reaching that house, to bring a mother and a father the smile, the courage and the hope that shaped their son's incredible journey. And we did it. Together, Musa and I transformed a personal story into a universal narration.
Driven by the desire to achieve his dreams, Musa overcame difficult moments and accomplished ever more ambitious goals, transforming pain into strength and fear into love. With extraordinary sensitivity, Francisco has collected his memories and written stories, transforming the chronicle of life into a universal narration enriched with poetic and literary moments. The First Drop is a novel that gives hope, like the rainy season that wets the earth with the promise of life. Musa Darboe is now living in Sweden, where he intended to resume his studies to become a lawyer. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou, I am Landin Cisse.